New tonight on KGW News, it looks like a scene out of Top Gun, as a fighter jet uses a hook and cable to safely touch down at PDX. Plus,
they were best friends. Best friends. They were inseparable.
How a family is remembering a father struck and killed while walking his 6-year-old son home from his school bus. Then the multi-billion-dollar deal that has Intel stock exploding.
It gives Intel exposure to a market where it doesn't have any success at all right now.
And later, meet the rats turned helpful heroes.
They have an excellent sense of smell. They pretty much navigate with their nose.
Trained to save lives by sniffing out disease and even explosives. Well, a very good evening. We want to get right to breaking news. In the case of the Washington man accused of killing his 3 young daughters, authorities now believe they have found the body of Travis Decker. The Chelan County Sheriff's Office saying human remains were found in a remote wooded area south of Leavenworth. That's where the search for Decker has been centered for months. Decker was charged with 3 counts of murder and kidnapping for the deaths of his daughters Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia. He had been on the run since June after he failed to return the girls to their mother following a scheduled visitation. Their bodies were later found near Decker's abandoned truck. The coroner, of course, will have to officially identify the remains. New tonight, a former journalist convicted of going on a vandalism and hate crime spree has now been sentenced to 5 years in prison. Alma McCarty's in the newsroom. Alma, sounds like he didn't show any remorse.
Yeah, David, earlier this summer, a jury found Michael Bivens, a 37-year-old former independent journalist, guilty of 11 charges and found he'd committed these crimes due to his perception of the race and religion of the members of 3 local places of worship and a business.
More than 3 years ago,
I believe it was over here, if I remember correctly.
Staff at Congregation Beth Israel informed Rabbi Michael Z. Kahana of the anti-Semitic graffiti spray painted on the Northwest Portland synagogue.
Just the day after Holocaust Remembrance Day, that it felt like this was no accident.
The very next day, a stone was thrown through one of the windows into the temple library.
Felt a very intentional statement of don't feel safe.
Investigators linked these crimes to others, to more vandalism at another synagogue, to a fire started at the Muslim Community Center of Portland, and to a broken window at a Black-owned business.
It was a strong sense of hatred and rejection.
Soon after, in May of 2022, Portland police arrested this man, Michael Bivens.
Rabbi Kahana?
Rabbi Kahana shared a statement at Bivens' sentencing Thursday afternoon.
Michael Bivens put our community on edge.
Andy Green spoke on behalf of the Muslim Community Center.
Yeah, I feel horrible for you. I really wish there was more that I could do for you.
Save your pity for the weak.
Stop.
Save your pity for the weak.
Stop.
And Bivens expressed only this when given a chance to speak.
From the autobiography of President Richard Nixon, page 872. It was Robert Kennedy who authorized the first wiretaps on Martin Luther King.
The judge ultimately sentencing Bivens to 5 years in prison and 5 years probation after a jury found him guilty of arson, criminal mischief, and bias crime in July.
This should be a very clear message that this office takes hate crimes such as this very serious.
That anxiety doesn't go away because one person is incarcerated. It is a reminder to us that there are people who hate us and who are willing to act on that hate.
Due to time already served, Bivens will only be behind bars for about a year more. David?
It falls to all of us, Alma, to stand up to that hate. Appreciate your reporting tonight. In an update now, we are hearing from the daughter of a Vancouver dad authorities say was hit and killed by an impaired driver while walking his 6-year-old son home from the bus stop. That's as the suspect went before a judge. Here's Devin Haskins.
He was such a great dad.
Standing outside her parents' Vancouver home, Natalie Quevedo Sanchez holds 3 photos. All 3 show the love of a father and his son.
He would do everything with Joshua. His day off, It was for Joshua.
Joshua is 6 years old.
He is the silliest kid ever.
And because school was delayed due to the educators' strike, she said Joshua had just finished his 3rd day of 1st grade.
He said he loved his teacher.
He's now in critical condition at Randall's Children's Hospital.
He's hooked up to a lot of machines, but he's still there. And he's strong. He's so strong.
Joshua and his dad, Jose, were hit by a truck as they were walking home down Northeast 137th after Joshua had gotten off the school bus. 137th is under construction without any sidewalks, and the two were walking in the road.
Just right down the block. My parents were home, but they didn't hear any of the ambulances or anything until someone came and got them.
Vancouver police say 73-year-old James Paulson was agitated and under the influence of marijuana when he drove around construction traffic, hitting and killing Jose and critically injuring 6-year-old Joshua. Police said Paulson's truck dragged Jose Quevedo Sanchez nearly 100 feet.
We got to say our goodbyes to him, and I let him know that everything that I'll do for the rest of my life will be for him and for Joshua.
Paulson appearing in court today, charged with vehicular homicide, vehicular assault, reckless driving, and DUI.
He took the best brother I've ever had from me.
A brother she adored.
I don't know what life is going to look like, but I know that it won't be the same.
Devin Haskins, KGW News.
This evening, we're hearing from one of the survivors of a fire that destroyed an Aloha apartment complex. Heather Fenner tells us she was lucky to escape with her son, especially because she's deaf and could not hear the alarm. Fenner was actually asleep on her couch Wednesday morning when she says she woke up to the smell of smoke and then opened her eyes to the sight of flames. She made it out with her son, a dog, a cat, though another cat is still missing. Fenner says she lost everything from clothes to her son's baby pictures and even special devices that help her communicate.
I saw the smoke in the morning when I woke up from my couch. She's right there. It's gone. Everything burned down. I feel very lost.
Can only imagine the fire displaced 17 people altogether. Fenner is staying in a hotel and has created a GoFundMe. Authorities say this blaze was likely caused by improperly discarded smoking materials. ICE is responding tonight to the city of Portland issuing what is called a land use violation against their facility in the South Waterfront neighborhood. Portland's mayor says as recently as May, ICE had been holding people longer than 12 hours, which is against the conditions of the permit. A Homeland Security spokesperson today saying they have taken action, including increasing staff to ensure detainees are not held more than 12 hours at the Portland site before being moved elsewhere. They went on to say, quote, "Another day, another sanctuary politician attempting to prevent the brave men and women of ICE from removing the worst of the worst, including rapists, murderers, pedophiles, and gang members from the U.S." Their words there, end quote. All right, let's take a live look at downtown Portland on this Thursday night, Friday Eve. Though earlier you may have noticed hazy skies and the smell of smoke up and down the valley. Chief Meteorologist Matt Safino is here. So Matt, where is it coming from?
I'll show you exactly where it's coming from, David. You can see it right here. The Bear Gulch fire up on the Olympic Peninsula in the Olympic Mountains of Washington, rolling right on down. Winds up to about 5,000 feet out of the north, so that smoke just came right on down the valley, right down I-5, basically, then eventually just kind of curved offshore. We had marine layer clouds this morning, too. Those melted away, but the smoke, of course, lingered throughout the day. In fact, right through sunset, we could see it. You could probably smell it. I know I did. It did make for a colorful sunset, but you can see the haze out there on the horizon from our Skycam out at the Reserve Golf Course. Now, we look at the air quality monitors. Nothing's too terrible, but it has deteriorated into the moderate category for several locations in the Portland area and then down around Salem as well. I think it's going to be this way again tomorrow and even into Saturday. Look at our smoke model here. We begin to see it edge away from us, but this only goes till Saturday morning at 11 a.m. I think it'll be Saturday night before we really see the smoke completely clear out of the way. So again, right now, 63 degrees in Portland. It's clear except for that wildfire haze. We'll talk more about the weather for the final weekend of summer in a bit, David.
Oh, thanks, Matt. We'll see you in a few. To get you caught up on tonight's other headlines now, in an unprecedented move in the Senate, Oregon Senator Jeff Merkley has introduced a resolution calling for the U.S. to recognize a Palestinian state. The resolution also advocates for Hamas to release hostages and lay down its weapons and urges Israel to end the war in Gaza. Berkeley says recognizing a Palestinian state is, quote, the right thing to do, end quote, and also necessary for peace. The resolution has little chance of moving forward in the Republican-controlled Senate. New tonight, in Columbia County, a wrestling coach has been arrested on child sex abuse charges. 24-year-old David Rubio, who was a state champion wrestler, is accused of luring a minor and trying to get them to send him sexually explicit photos. Police say Rubio met the victim at a wrestling clinic where he coached. Because of his access to other young athletes, police say they're concerned he could have other victims. If you have information about Rubio, you're asked to call Scappoose Police. A 32-year-old man from Salem is dead after what police in Idaho call a road rage shooting. This was just after 9 Monday morning off I-84 in Payette County. Investigators say Charles Avery confronted another driver after both vehicles pulled off the interstate. They say Avery damaged the truck and opened the driver's door. The 71-year-old man inside then shot Avery, telling police he feared for his life. A neighbor saw part of the incident on his security camera.
The truck was in front, just driving along. I'm guessing probably 45 or so. Speed limit's 50. And then that car just passed him, just zoom, and then pulled right in front of him and hit the brakes. I mean, you can see in the video, the whole nose dives down and he just stops.
Well, so far, no charges have been filed. And 4 soldiers on board a military helicopter that crashed late last night in rural Thurston County. The coroner says it's being treated as a death investigation, with the Army referring to the crash as a, quote, mishap. The county sheriff adds it is the kind of crash that people usually do not survive. The crash also sparked a wildfire that burned roughly an acre. Well, it's a big news for Intel, which is getting a $5 billion investment from rival Nvidia. Intel shares jumping more than 20% on that news. The two companies plan to jointly develop both AI infrastructure and computing products. It comes after Intel, of course, slashed thousands of jobs at its Oregon campuses, and the U.S. government took a 10% stake. Mike Roggaway, he's a business writer for The Oregonian, points out Intel still has a bit of an uphill climb.
They have to prove that their factories can deliver advanced chips on time, and that they can be attractive to other companies that need, companies like Nvidia, that need places to make their chips.
The move, which is subject to regulatory approvals, will make Nvidia one of Intel's largest shareholders. Intel CEO called it a, quote, game-changing opportunity.